milk games. I'm running a 2-minute contest for 2 mils of milk, and there should be enough for everyone who's here right now. So get yourself over to Milk Games and be in with a very good chance of claiming 2 mils. As a big thank you for joining us for another AMA in the middle of another exciting week in the Weirdoverse. Hi everyone. Do we need some intro music for this? I've been thinking. Both Crypto Jack and I were on someone else's Discord server last week in an AMA being introduced, and they dropped in some easy listening classics. I think it was Lovely Day or Sitting on the Dock of a Bay, that sort of era of music, and it was so nice. It was so gentle. Lovely welcome into their Discord. I think it was Starcatchers, thinking off the top of my head. Maybe it was Starcatchers. It was great though, and it just got me thinking, what would be a weird intro that we could drop into our AMA and make it a slick radio show to kick things off in here. We've got Crypto Jack as well. Crypto Jack, I was just telling everyone that we were on an AMA last week, and we were in a sort of waiting pattern with some easy listening music just to get the fired up. And I thought it was amazing. We need to do something similar on ours.
Of Us was one of the tracks.
So good, hey. We need some suggestions in the suggestions channel for what our weird intro should be if we're going to do something like that. We could make it happen. We could do something a bit more.
What was the other one? Was it Bob Marley or something? Or
was it Lovely Day? I'm trying to remember now.
Day. Yeah, something like that.
I felt great by the end of it, and I think that was the point, right?
I thought the first one was good. Just the two of us was a bit strange.
Yeah, and a little bit awkward because we were literally two of us in the audience at one point. But it's nice to see so many people join us and listen to our dulcet tones one more time. We do this a lot, and so there's probably a bit of fatigue out there, but we want to give everyone as much chance as possible to understand what we're doing here, what it's all about, and talk about random stuff as well. I keep on offering, but no one takes me up on it. We got asked how much we bench press once, and that was about as exotic as our questions have been in recent weeks. But look, you're here for the project. We get that. So we're here to talk and tell you whatever it is you want to know, and at least our responses to that. So what have we been up to this week? Well, Jack and I were on a Twitter Spaces yesterday with the lovely founders of World of Alpha, which was fantastic. Great bunch of people, and one of my more sort of fun interviews, actually. I don't know about you, Jack, but I just love getting into the basics of our project. And one of the things that we really enjoyed doing today as well was just to update some of that onboarding information for the community. So you might notice that if you go back through the induction channels, things like getting started, we've changed a number of things in there just to update it and modernize it. The project's really grown in the last 3-4 weeks. And we've started doing some cool and different things, and we just noticed a lot of that stuff was looking quite tired and out of date and out of sync with what we're talking about in here. So we've got a new getting started page, we've got a new FAQ section, and this is much thicker volumed than what we had previously. We last updated our FAQs when we dropped Genesis Series 3, so that's been it feels like about 9 years ago at this point, doesn't it, Jack? Doing Series 3 drops, but we're full steam ahead going into the generative now, and you needed all that information around how you get onto the cream list, what a cream list even is, rat milk, and what rat milk is. Many of you already know, but for those of you who are joining us, these are the landing pages to the Weirdoverse, and it made a lot of sense to get that stuff out there. And give us some feedback if there's stuff that you think should be on there that we're ignoring and missing, because we're just two brains up here, and there's 26,000 brains out there. So, you can tell us what you think we should be telling new people as they come into the server. What would have been useful for you when you arrived that you now know that you'd want people to know? We might even reward Milk for the best suggestions. So come on, drop them into the suggestions channel today. What else have we been doing? The Weird Art contest concluded this earlier today, this lunchtime for us in the UK. And our mod team and Team Weirdo have been choosing their favourites. We've been having a lot of fun with this. I've got to say, it's probably one of the highest standard contests we've run. In fact, the highest standard contest we've ever run, I think. Just my humble opinion. It has been phenomenal seeing some of the art and contributions to fan art and the Weirdoverse. I'm blown away by the number of people engaging with it and the quality of it. It's going to be very, very, very hard to conclude on the winners, but we're trying. We're in the process of doing all that right now. I can't ignore a hand up in the crowd from Dope AF with probably the best avatar in the entire server. So I don't know if that's a hello or if you actually want to come on stage, or whether I've just pointed out your phenomenal circle of joy down there in the audience. But if you did want to come up and speak, you're welcome up anytime, especially with a PFP like that. So yeah, we were talking about the Weird Art Contest. We're going to announce the winners later today. That's the TLDR there. We're just working through the results now. But thank you to absolutely everyone. It has been just a joy to take part and see how people pay tribute to the art of Ghost Breath. What else have we got on coming up? So later tonight in 10 p.m. UK time, we've got Pictionary. So check the event listings and the announcements channel posts for the time displayed locally for you. If you don't know how it works, and many of you do because we play it every week, but it's very simple. The Gartic bot flashes up a picture and you've got to be the first to correctly say what it is. 30 minutes. But we're going to run it slightly differently today with a twist. So rather than just dish out cream lists to the guys who finish and guys who get the most correct answers and finish top of the table, we're going to do it a little bit differently. So any correct answer today, and we're going to add your name to the wheel of names, and we're going to spin that wheel 5 times at the end of Pictionary and award the cream list prizes. And I'll record that so that you can see that it's all above board, and we'll do it randomly across any correct answer, okay? We'll also drop 10 mils of rat milk to anyone with a correct answer awarded by the Gartic bot, not just the correct answer, but you've got to earn the point from Gartic. So just one flat 10 mil prize. Doesn't matter how many points you score over half an hour, whether it's just 1 or 15, you'll just get 10 mils straight up, a flat amount from MilkBot 3000 after the game's finished. So now you're not going to need the fastest internet to win. You don't get multiple bites of the cherry if you answer more of them correctly. You just get one entry on the wheel of names, and we spin that wheel 5 times, and off we go. We're also going to put a highly aggressive 1 minute slow mode on the channel as well, which we're trialing. And the idea of that is to stop the same people spamming answers. You know, we want to see lots of different names in with a chance to win on the wheel of names. So if you're going to guess, don't miss. And we've got Dope AF back with their hand up. Maybe this is a call to speak, or maybe it's another wello, but we're going to give you a chance. Come on up if you want to have a chat. Entirely up to you. Hey, you're on mute, so when you're ready, let's hear it. Just click your unmute button when you're ready, Dope AF, and you can talk. No? Bit shy? Or tech rugged? Not sure. I'm going to move you back to the audience while you figure it out, okay? There's a microphone button that you need to press to unmute yourself. And then if you want to do that, then let's have a chat. Okay, moving on. So the rest of the week after Pictionary, we've got a second Pictionary again tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. UK time. Again, it's not really intended for the UK crowd. It's for other time zones around the world. So again, check your event listings and announcements to see it in your local time. You can't win a prize in this second running of it if you win tonight. So it is intended to catch as many people as possible in the community over a number of different hours, okay? Now, we've got poker in our listings as well. Again, go back to announcements and see all this. It's all there for the rest of the week. We're playing poker tomorrow night and Friday morning. We're actually still investigating some Discord issues around community staged poker events. So you may have seen some posts on Twitter regarding this. We're looking into this as well. The summary is that a number of community servers have been either cautioned or individuals from those servers have been banned pending hopefully some sort of review by Discord for staging gambling competitions within the server. Now, the specific context of the thing that people are sharing online is in relation to a server who were using crypto payments as tournament buy-in to take part in the contest. So in lots of ways, we feel quite confident that what we're doing isn't as adjacent to gambling as some of the examples that are being cited and taken down. We want to be safe, and better to be safe than sorry when we've built something like this that's grown to this level, and we don't want to jeopardize anything that we do in the Weirdoverse. It would be dreadfully sad if we had to pull poker, and quite honestly, if we've got to pull poker, we've got to pull everything that we do, because everything pays out in rat milk or creamless spots, which are not currencies, as we know. They're not actually tradable for cash in any meaningful way. They're just methods of bringing people into our pre-sale for an NFT project. So we feel quite clear that we're actually okay, but we're just going to keep on researching that today and tomorrow to get ourselves in a place where we feel super comfortable that we can go ahead. But it's on the listings. If we rug it last minute, this is the reason why, and we'll come back with more information as to why we're more concerned than we are. But actually, I think we're in an all right place on that front. So we'll run that twice. We'll run it tomorrow evening and then Friday morning, UK time. Again, check your listings. And then Friday evening, we've got The Voice. What is The Voice? Well, if you've heard of The Voice, you'll know all about The Voice. We're going to come back in here, the Weirdoverse stage, and we're going to invite people up to sing Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. So if you don't know Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, I don't think we can be friends, first and foremost. If you don't know Bohemian Rhapsody, go and check it out on YouTube, Spotify. Other streaming services are available. But educate yourself in the world of Queen if this is news to you. Why Bohemian Rhapsody? 2 reasons. Number one, it's a weird song. It's an iconic song, but it's a weird song. But secondly, this is inspired by spaces that Jack and I were on last week. And the hosts asked one of the audience members to sing a song, a weird song. And we were asked to pick that song. And off the top of my head, it just came to us to do that. And the results were fantastic. In fact, one of the creamless winners from that competition, a guy called Beef, who lives in Sydney, one of our community members, is going to join us on stage as a special celebrity guest judge for The Voice. And given he sang it so beautifully, he is perfectly equipped to assess your efforts. So we're looking for brave volunteers to come up on stage and sing Bohemian Rhapsody, and we'll take it all in turns, and the judges will review all of the contestants, and we'll hand out creamless and rat milk prizes for everyone taking part. So bear that in mind as we move into Friday evening. I'll be having a quick beer to take the edge off hosting that one. That just about wraps up the rest of the week from a community and admin point of view. We have got a number of questions that have been flooding into the suggestions and AMA questions channels. So without further ado, I'm going to start rattling these things off. A lot of these get pointed at my good friend CryptoJack, and some of them are going to come to me. If you just arrived and you want to ask a question and you don't have time to type it out in AMA questions, put your hand up. Come and join us on stage. The show is yours. We're here for you. If no one has anything to ask, we'll wrap things up early. That's absolutely fine. We'll be back again next week, maybe with a bit more information for you, maybe with more questions, but the floor is yours. So, Jack, Print F Bambi asks us, by the time you're reading this message, I might not be here. Where are you going to be? What does that mean? That sounds quite sinister, actually. I might not be here. I hope you just mean you're in bed and you're not, as in not here. So let us know you're okay, firstly, Bambi. That would be nice to hear from you, firstly. Let us know you're okay. I have a few questions. Will there be NFT staking for holders, and how does it work? Will we receive Weird token as a reward? Thanks heaps. I'll kick that one off, Jack, if that's okay. We talk about utility all the time in these AMAs, and there's lots of calls for explaining our utility of the project, both right now, in the immediacy post mint, and our roadmap conversations, because there's a reference to Project W on the roadmap. What is that? How does it all tie in with the Weirdoverse and that sort of thing? And our responses have been very consistent on this, which is we're not revealing detailed roadmap items today, not in the lead into the mint. We are building a Weirdoverse, and that's how we're leaving our conversations around this. Notwithstanding that, we take utility very, very seriously, and we will be building a substantial world around the generative cloning event that we're offering to the community very, very soon. So don't take the dismissal of the detail of this response as us not showing a serious approach to building utility to the project. We're just not allowing you to get very specific pieces of information that get priced into the speculative nature of a generative project. Okay, so we do have a very detailed mind map for our roadmap, and we'll be revealing it over time and unlayering it as we move through beyond the mint and into the Weirdoverse. So in specific relation to staking, we'll never say never with any mechanism for providing things to do with your NFTs, but we're not confirming that that's going to happen either today. So we would only do staking if it made sense to stake as the best solution for the thing that we're trying to deliver in our roadmap, okay? And for me, you stake for a token. In order to have a token, we'd have to have a economy that we want to put into the world. Why would we want to have an economy? Well, these are the kind of questions that I think, need some serious thought before just doing them for the sake of doing them. Because as we've said in previous AMAs, ERC20 tokens are hugely complicated to deliver and maintain value in. And you need a purpose and an ongoing reason to have an ERC20 token beyond just here's some speculation that you can trade and switch for ETH and watch the price immediately climb and then crash to zero over a number of weeks. We would have to have very, very, very clear reasons for delivering everything via a currency that you don't already have in your wallet, like Ethereum. And sometimes that's not often the best solution for giving you the things that you really want, which is value around the IP that you're about to take part in by joining the cloning event. So I would never say never, but those things are so much further down the line than those sorts of questions today. We're not going to speculate on the use of things like staking NFTs right now. Anything you'd like to add to that, Jack?
Sorry, my microphone's been playing up. No, I think that's a perfect answer. I think the key is, we want people to come to this project and understand what we're trying to build in terms of the Weirdoverse. The strengths of this project are super clear. The art, the narrative, the team, what we've executed on so far. And, straying too far away from those core fundamentals too soon, I think would be a big mistake. We are super excited and focused on the cloning event. We're going to bring to life through the cloning machine something quite spectacular, we believe, and we want to maintain focus on that. It's my strong belief that the best projects, those with that deliver most value to their collectors over kind of a medium to long term, the likes of EAYC. They've taken the release of an ERC20 token extremely seriously. They haven't rushed it, and that's in stark contrast to other projects who've released tokenomics or play to earn games or some form of other form of DeFi staking. And what you typically see in those projects, go and look at the graphs on Dex Tools or something like that. What you typically see with those underthought projects is a very sharp increase in the value of that token in the initial stages of the project, then a sharp crash. And everything that we've done in this project has been about taking things slowly, doing things in a sustained way. Everything from our go-to-market strategy and how we've grown this community slowly and steadily without shillers, without sleazy tactics, without influencers. This project's here for the long run, and any decisions that we make about tokenomics, staking, will be taken very seriously. and will not detract away from the core of what we're building here, which is kind of a creative universe of the weirdos.
Here. Asianator 369. 3 lots of 69. Nice. When the cloning event happens, will the sub factions be split up randomly? Would I be better off minting one, waiting a few, minting more, or just minting all at one time? Oh, okay, cool. I read that incorrectly first. So, are you saying that by? Oh, okay, I get it now. So instead of minting all 3 at once or 4 or whatever it is, you think your question is if I mint one and then another one within 2 hours, I might have a better chance of minting a different faction. No, everything will be split up randomly within the mint process, so that you don't have to. There's not slots or allocated time slots for minting a particular faction or anything like that. Everything will be completely random. What I thought you were talking about was whether or not all the factions will be of similar rarities, and that's a slightly different question, which Crypto Jack wasn't asked in the AMA questions channel, but I'm asking him now. Have you had any conversations on rarities of factions and traits yet? Am I still here? Hello.
I was muted. I said sorry. That's my.
I felt really lonely then.
Sorry. So we're still reviewing the output of the generative art and the individual factions. So whilst it's likely that particular factions, it makes sense for them to be more numerous because they're kind of going to be like bigger gangs, as it were. So an example of that might be, there's going to be more punks than there are kind of lizard people, for example. There's some kind of natural the factions naturally kind of drive out their own frequency of occurrence or rarity, but we're determined to make sure that we've outputted all of the factions in testing and taken a good hard look at them, because we know that there are going to be some real grail characters or traits that once we've seen them, we'll know from sight that it makes sense to make them also kind of rarer than others. And we haven't come to kind of any strong conclusions about those yet. The short answer is we're still working through what the rarity of the different factions and different traits will be at the moment over the next few weeks.
Cool. Abraham asks, can you elaborate what's the cloning event, fam? Hi, fam. Cloning event. Right. Cloning event is our generative NFT project. So we are creating 9,272 tokens, weirdo clones. Okay, clone weirdos, I should say. Clone weirdos. What is a clone weirdo? Basically, you will have hopefully by now seen our Genesis collection of series 1, 2, and 3 one-of-one hand-drawn characters that are central to everything that we do in the Weirdoverse. And the cloning machine, which the blueprints have been stolen by the weirdos from the state, have enabled them to clone a weirdo army, effectively, of the core characters in lots of different shapes and sizes. So some of the traits that you see on your Genesis weirdos from series 1, 2, and 3 will also be found within your weirdo and state clone factions within the generative project. So it's our way of talking about our generative project. That's the TLDR. But then underneath that, you will see some traits that run through our entire collection, which will be really exciting to share with the community when it drops. Just down, will there be future utility with milk other than buying cream lists? The short answer is yes. The long answer is yes, but we're not going to reveal what that is in the run into the generative. We're keeping our plans relatively close to our chest, but rat milk continues to be a central Proof of fund token and exchangeable currency for cool things to do in the Weirdoverse. That's not going to change. Okay, so don't worry about having surplus milk. We have plans. Ducky73 Jack is asking you, what's your favourite pizza topping? Good.
Oh, that's a good.
We've got some non-weirdo questions. This is good.
I don't know, some kind of spicy meat. I'm a sucker for spicy meat. Pepperoni or like some Italian spicy sausage.
Me too. Being a posh Englishman, we now get andouille sausage, don't we?
Yeah,
in this
that's
country.
the one.
It's a classic, isn't it? Spicy, oily sausages on pizzas. Bring it on.
That sounds
yeah, meat
very
feast and
adult-y.
cheese. Where it's at, yeah. It's not very Italian though. I've got to say. Don't think the Italians put an andouille on their pizzas, but Shroot Dwight says the weirdos are awesome. Thank you. You're awesome. What else have we got? Ed says, will the clones be exact clones of tokens from series 1, 2, or 3, or will they have different traits?
Very good.
Some are similar, some are different. That's probably the very high level answer to that, right, Jack?
Yeah, exactly. There are 412 characters in the Genesis connection, a very broad range of the imaginations of Ghost Breath. Within that, you will see kind of there are some factions, there are some themes. You can see the droids, you can see the robots, you can see there's pterodactyl people, there's nudists, so what we're doing is we're kind of drawing out those kind of those factions, and 14 of those will be appearing in the cloning, the collection following the cloning event, 7 state and 7 weirdos. I'm not sure we've fully elaborated and explained the names of all of those factions yet, but we will be doing more to introduce you to them over the coming weeks. And excitingly, well, actually, I shouldn't say this. I think we're going to try and get to the position that we've got kind of a little logo / emblem for each of the factions as well.
That's welfare.
Welfare
Alert. Love it when Jack's on. We always get a little nugget of welfare. Aginator's back saying, what's your favourite adult beverage?
Both of that.
You have a grown-up beverage of choice over there, Jack?
Oh, some kind of Guinness IPA or Negroni.
Oh, good shout. Good shout. I love a really cold IPA, like ideally one with a little bit of a hint of fruit in it as well, which is starting to become a bit of a vice of mine. Probably why I've got the Web3 5 kilos that I can't shift, because I'm sat at my desk late at night drinking beer instead of going and getting in the gym. So yeah, my adult beverage of choice is definitely a cold IPA, but partial to a good glass of red wine as well. Big Pinot Noir guy over here.
These are much nicer questions than normal. I like
this. Yeah. No one's attacking us yet.
No.
It's coming. When mint. When price. We've answered that in FAQs now, so we can just say FAQs in the answer. Life Belongs to You asks, will this project be an immediate reveal?
No, it won't be. So it's exact timelines haven't been fleshed out, but I expect it will be 2-day pre-sale. Then that would last for 2 days, and public sale, and then 2 days after the public sale kicks off, we'll have the reveal at that point. And then at that point, people's minds will be blown. There will be meltdowns as people see this collection. So we probably all just need to like chill and relax and just really appreciate each other's weirdos for the next couple of weeks. I think after that, it's actually quite funny thinking about what life's going to be like after the reveal, because if people don't love this as much as I think they are, they're going to, then I'll be very surprised.
Yeah, Jack and I have been seeing this privately, and it's going to sound arrogant, but if people don't like this collection, I think I've misunderstood everything I know about Web3. And we've been in this space coming up to 15 months, both of us, and that's not a huge amount of time in the world to amass all the information you need, of course, but longer than many, and less than some, but enough time to get a sense of what works, what doesn't work, what people like to see, what makes a good PFP, what depth of project this signifies as well by going through the collection. And I just feel like this is something. It's why I'm on the team. I was a collector, and now I'm on the project side. But this is a thing that I want to collect as a collector too. So hopefully, we are not too blinded by our proximity to the project here, and you feel it too. So I can't wait. What have we got? Dan. I hope that's an Alan Partridge reference. If that is, I love you forever.
Same.
Are there any major differences between factions, state, and weirdos? Are there any major? I think the community should answer Dan in the AMA questions. Are there any major differences between factions, state, and weirdos? I mean, yes, fundamentally, philosophically, politically, spiritually, everything is different between the state and the weirdos. In terms of how it feels in the server, okay, maybe you're starting to converge a little bit because you're asking things like, is there anything other than the weekly milking competition? So we have a weekly faction challenge, which at the moment is taking on the guise of the faction creating the most milk per faction member in games is the winner. So those that win more games per person are going to win more creamless prizes and rat milk for the following 24 hours afterwards. So that is part of the deal of being in a faction. It's competing for the finite resource of the milk on the farm. Will it ever be possible or strategic to change factions? Good question. Jack, will it ever be possible or strategic to change factions?
I mean, why would anyone ever want to change faction, especially if they're a member of the state?
We've had a few spies, haven't we? We've had a few people who have infiltrated the wrong side, and they've been dealt with fairly swiftly by the hardcore on each side. So I don't recommend going in as a mole, for what it's worth. But once you've aligned yourself and pledged your allegiance, you're probably there for a number of different reasons, But it's probably, I think your point here is maybe it's worth a bit more info on this in the FAQ. Yeah, maybe it is actually, because you said when I joined, I just randomly chose. And maybe we should be doing a bit more to list the qualities of each faction, the weirdos, and why you would be a weirdo, and the state, and what would attract you to the state. So, yeah, good suggestion, Dan. I think we'll work on that. We'll have a think about how we can present both sides as an argument before you go and type /faction into bot commands and choose your side, because it stays with you. It's your identity in the server forever, So kind of important that you get that bit right. But if you're feeling regret, then you're a weirdo. We're state, so go and fuck them up from the inside, Dan. We're very happy for you to be a mole. Are these related to the 14 factions coming in the cloning event? Well, yes, they are. So there's 7 sub-factions of the weirdos, and there's 7 sub-factions of the state authority. So that is exactly what we're getting in the cloning event. We're getting 14 total factions split evenly across the two sides of the struggle between good versus evil in our storyline, but really state versus weirdos in the way that we're describing it here. Is it possible? God of Thunder. Wow, what a question. Is it possible to get an interactive mint, like minting your first clone faction to your personality or something like that? I mean, if you can invent a predictive tool that mints based on personality, let us know. I'd love to see interactive mint that works like that. That feels a bit like the sorting hat in Harry Potter, and I'm not a wizard, unfortunately. So some of the our engineers are in actual wizards, so there is a possibility they can do this stuff. But in all honesty, no, it's going to be a random mint, and that's going to be an interesting argument as well as to, well, if you get a weirdo but you're the state, Are you going to want to hold it? Are you going to want to buy a stake token instead? Is there a specific sub-faction you identify with the most? Maybe that's how this is going to work. You're going to see the collection unfold on the marketplace post-reveal, and then you're going to realize which of the sub-factions you really vibe with the most. And I can't wait to see how people approach this to link with their personality. Maybe it's not the faction that they've chosen as part of the server as well. So who knows is the honest answer there, but I can't wait to see how that all plays out. Sorry, Aginator, you said you skipped some of my questions. It was a 3-parter, my first question. Oh, you edited it. That's why. Sorry, I missed you because I took down some notes earlier. Aginator also asked us, is flexing my abundance of milk and cream list frowned upon? No, you can flex your abundance of milk and cream list. I'm very proud of my 100 mils of sweet rat milk. Oh, you should talk to Austin. He's nearly at 500, bro. And others seem to get a little jealous. Well, read the room, Aginator. If people don't like it, don't do it. Simple as that. But you should be proud. We're proud of you. I hope that helps. Another idea, maybe a little vote for the best moderator. This is a bit awkward because that's obviously me. So give them some kind of reward. Well, tell me what you want to give me. I'm here. No, give it to the moderator team. Very happy for you to decide who the best is. I can award a winner. Just figure it out amongst yourselves and anoint your favorite moderator, and I'll definitely shower them with something. What else have we got? Pineapple on pizzas, yay or nay, Jack? Morix the Weirdo asks, pineapple on pizzas. Are you in or out?
I mean, I'm philosophically opposed to pineapple on pizzas, but I occasionally do enjoy a pizza with pineapple on, but I'm not really a big kind of mixing of sweet and savoury. I think that's a bit of in general, that's a no-no. Although...
Quite stated, isn't it?
Mango chutney is pretty good with curries.
Just a walking contradiction, Crypto Jack. Yeah. I am all in on pineapple on pizzas. I don't mind quite odd flavour combinations. In fact, there's very little I don't eat, and I get a bit frustrated with my wife, who has very specific ideas of what food is, and I'm a bit more open to trying all kinds of bullshit on pizzas. So bring it on. Bring it on. Umphy says, kind of sus you like spicy meat. Yeah, you're not wrong. But we are kind of sus. Oh, we've just doxed ourselves, though, in the team Weirdo, so we can't really be as sus as we used to be. But what else have we got? Dan. He's back. Question 2. I'd love to know a bit more about the team. I've seen the website and the bios. And since discovering the project, I'm impressed and enthusiastic beyond expectation. I've got to stop reading out praise. I'd love to know more. How much experience? How many devs? Seeing as how a team is probably one of the most important, if not the most important factor in deciding to invest in the success of a project. Any plans to docs? Cool. Good questions. So you've seen the bio and the website. So there is a degree of, I'd say there's a degree of semi-doxing across there. So there's reasons why people are, content to keep their professional IRL careers away from Web3, partly because they're still working in them in some cases. Not talking about our project team here, just more general reasons for why it is okay to remain semi-doxed in a space which places a high premium on people being transparent. So my take on that is my IRL career is completely unrelated to what I'm doing now in Web3, but I'm proud of it and I'm happy to share it. I have a good track record in what I've done with my life. I hope it lends some credibility to the sort of place I have on the team, even though my role is somewhat different than what I used to do. So I was a finance director or CFO in sports and entertainment. I've been a financial modeler, number cruncher, budgeter, planner, strategic person, board member, all these different things that require, I suppose, a range of skills, not just add up numbers on a spreadsheet or a calculator. So thinking about how we grow, thinking about how we build teams, thinking about how we execute, within expectations and deadlines and timelines have all been part of my career as well. And so it's not completely unrelated, despite what I just said, now that I really think it out loud. But it doesn't really lend any immediate Web3 CV credibility, So it's there. You can do what you like with it. you can find out whatever you like about me, and I'll be fairly happy to share it with you. But that's a personal decision, and it's not one that we should be expecting everyone to do. I mean, it doesn't increase or decrease any prospects of a project team rug pulling you anyway, as we've seen with anon identities now being charged in the US with rug pulls. They'll find you. If your concern around a project is credibility of whether they'll even stick around, well, there's no such thing as anon. Not really. And I think it's interesting that people think that. If you're talking about actual core credibility of the team, we have got a fantastic team in terms of Web3 across the piece. As Jack's probably mentioned in other AMAs and spaces, he founded an alpha server called Concord, which is a private server, has been running for quite some time and has picked up some phenomenal picks and early partnerships with the likes of Azuki and Creeps, which he also advised on as well. So they have a very strong track record of picking top tier projects very early on. We've got our dev team who also founded Megapont on the Stacks blockchain, which is just, if you go and have a look at Megapont, you'll see. You just take a look at the website. It's so clean. It's slick. Those guys know exactly how to build product and make it relevant to what people are trying to collect in this space. They get it. We've got Superlative Secret Society from Jack as well, who advised on a super cool art project earlier last year. What else am I missing in terms of people's Web3 track record, Jack? There must be more, but we're definitely proud to share the things that we've accomplished in this space and in our IRL careers in lots of different ways.
Yeah.
Are you on mute or am I dead?
No, I was me. I was muted and I came on. Yeah, I think what you said is very true. So the tech team, extremely strong. Mark McKenzie, who's fully doxed, is from formed a project called Apes Together. They're now doing development for us, the Creeps, their own project. They're kind of very well-respected blockchain and Web3 infrastructure devs. Mr. Xeon, who is a machine. So we've only really got two core devs working on the project, both of whom are what I describe as kind of 10x devs. You can just give tasks that other people would take 10 times as long to work through. My background is I've been before I quit my IRL job for Web3, I was head of product at a cybersecurity company in the UK that just raised its kind of Series A, and I'm used to running software engineering teams, design teams, go-to-market teams of high tens of people, and that's been my background for the last 10 years. So this I can tell what kind of having employed and worked with probably hundreds of software developers now, I can tell that the level of aptitude of Mr. Xeon and Mark, we're very lucky, and we've got a very capable designer as well. So we're well set. It's a bunch of reasonably old chaps who've spent the best part of 20 years each working in a world very similar to this, in kind of the Web2 world, bringing products to market. So this is slightly different, but everybody's got at least 1 year's experience in Web3. I certainly have 1 year, and Mark McKenzie's got a little bit longer than that, probably 2 years, and has worked in crypto and payments platforms previously. So it's a very well-rounded team. But I would say that I kind of pulled it together. So
Yeah, you're biased, but I echo all of that. Random GL asks, for the cloning event, are we expecting Weirdo clones to be similar amount as state clones? When we're minting, do Weirdos get Weirdo clones and vice versa? So is this the same amount on both sides in the generative? So there'll be the same number of Weirdo clones are state clones, but it will be random or wandom what you receive. So just because you are affiliated or pledge your allegiance to the Weirdos in the server, you have a 50-50 chance of minting a Weirdo clone or a state clone in the cloning event. So you're not locked into your side. It is going to be completely random. Okay? So what you then do with that randomness once you've received it, entirely up to you. Exactly how weird are you? Probably not that weird. I think, we're affiliated with the state, both Jack and myself. So maybe we lean towards the natural order and control and discipline of the mind than the free-spirited, independently thought through weirdos. And perhaps we're a bit less weird than you might think. Dan, again. Dan, you've got loads of questions. This is great. Thank you. Thank you for the transparent and thoughtful responses. Oh, stop it, you. What are some of your favourite other projects out there in the space? Any inspiration from other projects? Yeah, I mean, loads, hundreds. Jack might have mentioned Bored Ape Yacht Club 7 billion times in the last 6 weeks. That is a deep inspiration of everyone's in this space. But, sometimes the classics are classics for a reason, We both came through on apes. I'm no longer an ape, sad face, and I've regretted it every day since. I'm a huge Pixel Vault investor. I've got lots of bags over there. Got lots of meta heroes. I've got a lot of sidekicks coming through soon on my second mint pass. I've got a lot of planets. I've got comics. It's a very thoughtful and dense project with lots of layers to it. And perhaps I am inspired by projects that have that depth and complexity and quality of execution across the piece. So I like betting on teams, just like I think you've just asked us about our credentials. I'm looking for credentials from other teams every time I invest in a project now. I mean, I've aped into some awful shit in my time in Web3. I'm sure everyone has. I'm learning, and my favorite things have always been the things I've come back to have been the projects with the best teams, irrespective of what the token looks like. It's always about betting on quality people who deliver time and time again in this space. And there's actually fewer than you first think when you start rattling through that list. But yeah, I'm not talking about blue chips here when I talk about this stuff. I talk about people I like to back and I know will continue to be here and deliver. I've mentioned Carlini on a previous AMA. He's got Penelope's Country Club. That's under the radar. I don't think it's going to become a blue chip anytime soon. But if you want to look at how a project executes at a very high level, continually looks at roadmap, continually looks at adding extra value to OG token holders, it's Carlini and his amazing dev team there as well. So there's some people out there that are just very thoughtful around execution, and that's what I like to see. Have I stolen your thunder by taking BAYC off the table, Jack?
Yeah, a little bit. I guess I'll try. Maybe I'll answer the question a slightly different way. I haven't had as much time to be a collector in the space over the last 6 months because it's been so full on with Weirdos, which really frustrates me every day. But I know there's kind of a more important mission at stake with the Weirdos, so I feel like I've dropped out of things a bit, which is doubly painful because as Cheadle says, I also founded an alpha server. Because I loved hunting for amazing projects so much, but to kind of take it up to kind of like a more meta level, I think what Cheadle pointed out is really important. It's kind of finding these key characteristics or kind of foundational areas which you can index down on to try and identify great projects is to me what's most important. And we kind of have a bit of an analysis framework on Concord, my alpha server, where we look at a number of things, and I think teams comes out top every time. So I won't, and Nick's already said that, so I won't kind of go into that in more detail. But I think after teams, there's like projects that are doing something new and innovating and driving the space forward, and that might be in their kind of bringing new go-to-market techniques. It might be in their technology. There's an amazing project called Adult Fantasy, which didn't really get off the ground to the extent that I'd hoped it would, but they introduced this amazing technology um, for trading cards, for kind of like comic book character trading cards, where the NFT actually reverse ages over time, and the grade of the card starts at this kind of tattered, battered state, and then each day it kind of reverse ages and will eventually stop in its final state at some point in the future, where it will end up with like a traditional comic book, or kind of like quality grading. So I love that there are projects like that pushing the kind of innovating in the space, because there's so many copy pastas out there that are really, I find, just kind of completely makes me lose my mojo for Web3 when you see that people are just kind of doing the same thing each time. So yeah, projects that innovate like those guys, obviously BAYC. From an art perspective, doodles. I don't think I'm ever going to get over the fact that I don't own a doodle. Yeah, I'll stop talking now. I feel like I've spent too long answering that question.
I'm also inspired by NBA Top Shot, but not all necessarily for good reasons. It was the first project I found in Web3. It's quite centralized. There's a lot of, it's a custodial wallet, it's KYC'd, and the supply is out of control. So lots and lots of lessons to learn from Top Shot, because they've got this hugely lucrative license with the NBA to curate these amazing highlight packages in cubes, and the experience on the website is first rate. You know, the collector experience when you're buying and listing and purchasing is totally frictionless, and there's parts of it that just feel so good to work through. You know, looking at your collection's a moment of pride as well, but if you can't trust the scarcity and the supply going forwards, how can you confidently invest in something that continues to dilute? So that's something that stayed with me throughout my Web3 journey, is how we trust teams to not overdo it as well, because we get lots and lots of questions about when the sort of drop after the drop is coming. And I keep thinking, why do you want that when we don't even have an established value for the drop that we haven't dropped yet? You know, there are very few collections out there that correctly deliver on an expanded collection. And it's only when the demand is so strong for a project that a second airdrop actually makes any sense and doesn't dilute everything to a overall net negative. You've got to get that right, and you've got to have a purpose and a reason. Because I did see one of the questions going, will the clones get companions? It's like, well, maybe not. I don't want to spoil a roadmap surprise anyway, but at the same time, if it makes sense, we'll have conversations around building out the Weirdoverse in terms of tokens and characters. But let's get an established confidence level and appeal in the generative collection that hasn't even dropped yet. Let's focus on that, because it's really important that we get that right. What's the best secret to milking the rat? We need some rat alpha. Ralpha. Got any Ralpha for us, Jack? What's the best secret? What's your technique?
Well, I set the scores, so
you could just cheat if you want.
I could. Well, it's very difficult to cheat. You know, the milk dat rat game has been an evolution. We intentionally made the scores guessable in the first few, not guessable, but discoverable in the first few iterations of the game, because we wanted to see what that would do for kind of community collaboration, and it has been amazing. It kind of massively went beyond my expectations. One of the highlights when I look back on the Weirdos will be seeing somebody in the state chat suggesting that the correct technique was to tap your mouse to Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. I think I might have simultaneously given myself a high five and chuckled for about 15 minutes at the thought of people doing crazy things like that. So I think now it's much harder to discover. There's an array of rats, and one of those rats is randomly selected each time you engage in the game and start the game. So you can't expect the same score for clicking the same number of times or the same rhythm. So it's really about collecting a large number of scores and determining which which ranges there's the highest probability of getting a higher volume of rat milk as the prize. So yeah, I haven't given away too much now, but let me just check the scores and see if I can.
You rugged yourself in the process of saying that. You've taken yourself off the stage. Congratulations, Jack. I'll just carry on with the AMA questions then while you are fiddling with the scores and not rigging it in the background. Umphy says the main difference between state and weirdos is peen size. But which way around is it, Umphy? And what do you know? I want to know if you've conducted some research and how deep does that research go? No pun intended. Dan. What? Okay, so many questions. Love it. How many more chances will we have at Creamless before the cloning event? Well, lots. In summary, we still have spaces to give out, and we'll be releasing those at a fairly slow and steady between now and pre-sale. So there'll be chances right up to pre-sale. We really feel really strongly that there needs to be opportunities for people coming in who've only just found us but love us to be a part of the pre-sale. Okay, so we're not going to lock people out miles out from the event. I don't think that's healthy. I've said on previous AMAs that one of my worst collector experiences is finding something I really love, but finding it later than the first 5,000 people, and therefore I'm out. And that sucks. And I really hate that. So if there's a reasonable opportunity to keep some aside for people who are in that boat, I've been influenced by that in the past. So yeah, there will be more chances to have it, to open the farm shop, albeit, fewer because we're getting closer to the date itself. There'll be chances to win via games. There'll be chances to win via being weirdful in the server. So don't tag the moderators with some performance art, but when we see cool things happen, we'll be there. Beskar Capital. If there's some more sneak peeks prior to mint, would it be possible to include the AI generated lore description that will be created as well? I don't know. That's probably one for Crypto Jack if he's back and not rugging himself.
Sorry, I don't know how I rugged myself there. Probably I was babbling on too much and got rugged by Discord. We'll be increasing the number of sneak peeks over the coming days and weeks. We probably, for the first of those, we probably won't be sharing with descriptions. Might consider it closer to the mint, just tightening up those kind of the models for generating the different descriptions automatically. So that's going to take a little bit longer and probably won't be done until the end of next week, I wouldn't have thought. So yes, we will share some, not when we share the next sneak peeks of the art though.
Yeah. Cool. Will the clones get companions? We've touched on that. How come there's no shilling channel, says Aginator. I'd love to share my other project with my weirdo friends. Don't want to shill in chats. The simple answer here is security. So we used to have a shill channel, and aside from the fact that it was quite spam heavy, notwithstanding, your quite, genuine request to do something constructive, a lot of it is not constructive, and we have had increasing interest in our server from a malicious perspective. So we've got people putting malicious links into channels like that in other servers, and it can create some risk to our community members who we're trying desperately to protect at all costs. So I'm sorry that we've not really got a facilitating space for you to shill. It is a necessary byproduct of keeping everybody safe at this point. So I can only apologize for not being able to offer that. Athens from the States says, not sure if it's asked, are land purchases in the works? It's tied back to our other answers around not revealing roadmap and utility in that level of depth and clarity at this point. And also links to that point that we're making about we are so certain that we want everyone to focus on the generative first. We've not even launched our first NFT generative project. Let's get through that. Let's make it a success. Let's earn the right to talk about future drops in that level of detail. BAYC land sale is still leaked in their future roadmap and isn't confirmed. This is Bored Ape Yacht Club we're talking about. they've not confirmed their land sale and their Bored Ape Yacht Club. And I know we keep on coming back to them as the absolute, standard bearer, and it gets a little bit boring to do so. But there's a reason why people don't just splurge all the potential possibilities of what you can do with other tokens in a world that has yet to even be developed and given credibility to by the community, by the marketplace. If we end up with 100 ETH floor and we're the top one selling NFT project over 6 months, we can have conversations that are much more, detailed around how we expand the world. We don't even need to get to that point, of course. I'm being slightly flippant as well, but let's make the generative a massive success, and then when we get into building our Weirdoverse, which, as I say, we do have fairly mature plans for at this stage, we can start to feel a little bit more confident about talking about those things as we're developing them, and not the fantasy of all the things that we can say in terms of tech bingo and word bingo in Web3, because it's so easy for me to say, oh, we'll do a DAO, we'll do a merch drop, we'll do a TV series, we'll do an ERC20 token, metaverse, 3D animated characters, we'll do land sale, we'll do subsequent companion airdrops, and so on and so on. We'll do a lot of things, promise you, but we're not going to tell you what they are today, and there's good reasons for that. Hope that makes sense. Okay, a couple more before it's time to wrap up. God of Thunder asks, in the FAQs, it's mentioned for Creamless that the current maximum per wallet is 4, though this may increase in the future. What will depend on what the situation will be for the increase? It will just be our analytics and our decision, quite honestly. We're not going to necessarily give you the exact tipping point at which point 4 becomes more, but we're reserving the right to change it. Right 354 says, could you ask the architect if it's possible to do a character based on Umphy? Could be called Mummy's Boy.
He's great.
Yeah. I mean, a question's free of charge, right? So why not? In fact, you could ask him. Just ping him. Yeah.
I think now this is well. I think some of the I can't remember who it was exactly, but somebody took a picture of themselves in a custom rat milking T-shirt, and the architect's very keen to try to get that in as some of the merch and onto some of the characters. So these ideas are being listened to, and if they're inspiring enough, they will make it into the collection.
Great. Did we find those people? We should reward them.
Yeah. I'm just awful with names at the moment because so many people are coming into my DMs, but I am speaking to them and they have had some milk.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's circle back. I want to reward people that are doing these cool things. So if the mods maybe can find the name, we can find out what we've done already. But Stone Gecko asks, how do we know that the retired rats are happy? Do you have pics? We've got a health farm, but they're leading a happy life of retirement. But if you can't take our word for it, maybe we'll try and source some evidence for that. Good question. Shriek Dwight says, how do you foresee the NFT market over the next 3 months? Loving this project. I don't think at any point in my Web3 journey I've been able to foresee the next 3 months. So I'm not going to start now because it will be wrong. I think the way that I think about this space is a lot changes in 3 months. And so the meta of what is deemed collectible and hot right now changes several times within a quarter of a year. So for, all the noise around play to earn gaming at a point in time, it then switches to, a completely different emphasis. And then, maybe it's a land sale, exactly as one of our questions just posed to us. Maybe it's suddenly everyone wants to be in Decentraland or Sandbox. Maybe it's, let's get back to the essence of profile pictures and other utility that spins off that. The meta changes all the time. We're just waiting to see what comes next before, before making those sorts of declarations. My take is it's kind of foolhardy to believe that you've got that sense of what's coming next. I think a lot of people will try. I think very few people will end up being correct.
I'd like to think this is totally wishful thinking. I'd like to think we've been saying we're keen to set a new standard for generative art in the space. I hope that what we do now lifts the bar and we start to see more collections, um, you know, building much more complex um, generative art and processes. And hopefully we've led the way and there are more projects that their intention is to output kind of very individual pieces of art rather than this kind of silhouette template cycle that we seem to have been stuck in for nearly 12 months now. So I'd love to see a bit of a bit of what we're about to lay down as elevating the space, but it's much harder to do it this way as well. So maybe people are smart and will avoid it.
Yeah, if you're just going to rinse and repeat a PFP project and the 10 different pseudonyms, then yeah, you wouldn't do it this way. I think that's probably fair to say. This again, I hate sounding arrogant because it's awful, isn't it? But I hope that we do leave a legacy of some description in this space, whether it's either the complexity of the PFP, the generative, or whether it's just how we've approached certain aspects of the build up to selling this. So I hope that, if, for example, our approach for security and multi-accounting is taken on by other projects and looking at how we are, taking those bad actors within the ecosystem seriously and how we're taking actions against them at some point between now and the generative is going to be something that we can look back on and be really proud of. I hope I don't, eat my own words on that, but we are thinking about things in slightly different ways to what we've seen before and hoping that it leads to healthier outcomes for collectors. Because what we really want to get away from is this idea that people who have a tech head start on the rest of the community can somehow middleman tokens between project teams and real collectors. And I really want to avoid that that scalping step of people being able to pull 2,000 tokens into one wallet and then dump on the secondary and just be the person inflating that price to the ultimate person, and who gets punished for paying the highest price or being the most loyal and most deserving of that token anyway. So I think we can do something cool in that space to eliminate middlemaning and scalping. And, maybe that reduces our overall volume for all I know, but we'll feel like we've delivered something that lasts in the space if that's what ends up happening. So I'd be proud of that. How did the acceptance of ApeCoin come about for the mint, says Athens? That's a cool question. Do you want to do that one, Jack?
Yeah, okay. I guess there's a number of key factors in kind of coming up with a decision. My induction into this space was really as an ape, so I've got very strong ties back to the apes BAYC and very fond memories of the community that they built at the start. So I'm a bit of a fanboy, as you can probably guess, and I love Yuga.
No.
Yeah. It's very it's very subtle. It's very subtle. You might have to nuance. But I think they've done great things for the space. I think they're continuing to lift the bar. They stand for everything that I think I respect in the space. They execute and they deliver and they talk about it afterwards. They deliver incredible collector experiences. Ape is a signal that they kind of want to build a culture coin, a Web3 infrastructure coin, and they're bringing together the best brands in the business. And I think choosing to allow our collectors to mint on ApeCoin is kind of a signal of respect to them and what they're doing. In addition, we have always said that we've always tried to lead by example and do innovative new things. So when we saw an opportunity to be the first project to announce that we were going to mint on Ape, we wanted to take that, take that opportunity with both hands. So we did the due diligence. We worked out what it was going to take to do. Those contracts for Ape are now written and are live on Brink B. So we're testing those contracts already. So we just wanted to continue to kind of build credibility with you all, our community, and prove that we're a project that does what we say we are going to do, and is proves to you that we have got this track record in execution. The final point is it was kind of me who pushed the minting on Ape. I woke up one Saturday morning to the amazing Yuga video of all of the projects that they were bringing together. So obviously it's Apes, it's Meebits, it's Punks, it's World of Women. You saw Cool Cats, you saw Crypto Toads. If you saw that video produced by Yuga of the kind of the universe that they're kind of opening up and building, it was very clear to me that I thought that the Weirdos would sit very nicely in that universe. They're totally unique. There's nothing quite like this adult collection. There's nothing with the level of humor, I don't think. And what better way to kind of get the attention of Yuga and to kind of signal our support to them by minting on Ape. So a very long way out from there. As Nick said, we haven't even minted yet, but it would be amazing to kind of establish a position in this space that meant that we might, fit in with a partner of Yuga at some point in the future. And you've got to have these strong ambitions, and you've got to start somewhere. Nick, have you been rugged now, Nick?
Yeah, I was scrolling to find the stage again. We've got so many channels on the back end as a project team that I was just drowning in a column of names on one side of my screen, and I just realised I was on mute. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we're getting closer to the finish line here. We're sort of dried up on the questions. There was a couple of suggestions that might be worth just airing before Jack and I hang up. So just some guy said to us, what about onboarding some rat milk correction officers to get the Rat Milk Anonymous in use more? I think it needs to be a short rehab session, but made very clear that it is all just fun and games. Last thing we want is for people to leave the project. Yeah, okay, cool. So couple of points. I'll split that up. So rat milk correction officers. Unfortunately, we can't do that for security reasons in terms of Discord permissions across the server. So there's only a small number of people that can add roles, remove roles, and have that ability to put people in Rat Milk Anonymous, which, just so you know, means they are displaying signs of milk addiction. So we talk about this in our FAQs. We're really keen to create an anti-grind culture and keep the chat varied, fun, and interesting. We want people to just relax while they're with us, enjoy the vibes, and as a byproduct of being here, they end up on the cream list, not just when milk, give me milk, I need milk now. It gets really two-dimensional and boring for everyone to hear people just spamming milk, 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 and we really want to deter that wherever we can, okay? So that's our sort of backstory to the joke of Rat Milk Anonymous, is where people show signs of milk addiction, we're going to send them to a clinic for help, and there's definitely no milk in Rat Milk Anonymous. Anyone who's been through there can speak to it. There are people in the community. It isn't a promised land, some nirvana. I guess that is what the state would say, but trust me, you don't want to go there. There's no milk. But you're right, we do need to make it fun, and we do need to make it clear that it's not a crazy punishment. It's partly why we created this step rather than just kicking people, timing people out for annoying spam. We're just trying to talk to people and just say, look, we're not about that here. It's fun, it's different, and we want to bring people back around on the rehabilitation plan by linking them back to the art and say, you've got to get through this art challenge in order to come back out. And hopefully by the end of that process, they realize that, the error of their ways is to treat this like any other XP grind for allow list in another project, because that's not what we're about. We're really, really keen that you have a good time. And that's probably something that we should make clear. It is a bit of fun. And we should put that in our content around the FAQs on the site as well. So fair points, well made. What else? You guys should really go. This is from Prof Non-Fungible, who we've had a great chat with before. You guys should really try and go onto Bomb Talk with Bobby Hundreds from the Adam Bomb Squad project. They're a great project and a strong group of holders. So funny you should say that. I was talking about the hundreds myself this morning with Jack, because I'm a sort of merch holder of BAYC hundreds and other just sort of general hundreds collection, because I love their gear. I've got quite a few of their sweatshirts and t-shirts as well. So I'm a big hundreds fan. So yeah, I would love to work with Bobby and the Bomb Squad. I love that project. I love the street culture. Full stop. Whether it would be a Supreme collab or a Bomb Squad collab. I mean that's the stuff that gets me excited, right? This isn't Walfa. We're not talking like that, but yeah, certainly I would love that sort of conversation. What else? I think that might be it. Does anyone have anything on stage that they want to come and chat to us about before we call things there? Cool. I'm going to wrap things up. It's been an hour 15. It's been great talking to you. We're back again Monday. We're back again next Wednesday. We'll drop in some notes if we're on any AMAs anywhere else across the world, whether it's in other people's servers or on Spaces. And stay tuned for more information. We think we're going to get some sneak peeks out to people as well again soon. So there's another spoiler, a little tip going into the weekend. So sit tight, and yeah, we'll hear from you all again soon. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.